People seem to overcomplicate creating content strategies, but I'm going to explain this to you in 3 simple steps. If you want to create a content strategy for yourself or your clients, this is the video you need. So the first step is to understand the industry and the goal of my clients. Whenever I start working with a client, I onboard them and then I book a call with them where I take 30 minutes, an hour to understand their industry, their experience, their knowledge, and also their goals. So my role as a content strategist is to combine their industry and their goals to bring the outcome that they want. It can be brand awareness, it can be lead generation, it can be a mix of both. But when you are able to create an effective content strategy, that is when you start seeing the right results. Once I know what my clients' experience and knowledge and industry is and what are their goals, I get to the next step where I do my own research. I try to find out their competitors, people in their industry, and I go through their profiles to understand what they are doing. I try to analyze their posts and figure out what is their content strategy or what is their social media strategy, what kind of audience have they built, how is the audience responding to their posts, which posts are doing well, which are not, and this is what helps me find a gap. So when you are creating a content strategy for anyone, you will obviously take into consideration all the things that are working in the industry and all the things that people are already creating content on. You also need to do that with your own unique point of view and twist. But other than that, you should also find a gap that people are not addressing. Maybe you are seeing people asking questions in the comment section of the competitor or the industry leader that is not getting answered. So you can create a series or you can get content ideas from there and fill the gap. And the third step is to decide the content pillars, the formats, and what are the things that you are going to talk about. So content pillars is an umbrella of topics that you are going to cover for your client or for yourself. I usually stick to 3 to 5 content pillars, and let me make you understand with an example. So let's say I am working with a client who is a founder of a company who helps remote workers do their job better. So for this person, the content pillars may be remote work and content that is catered towards remote workers, how remote workers can use their product and increase their productivity, or how organizations should take a look into their products and introduce that to their remote workers and things like that. Also other general topics on remote work. Everything remote work basically will be one content pillar. The other content pillar can be personal stuff where maybe the founder is sharing how he is also maybe working remote and managing his work-life balance, or how he went to an event and how insightful it was and things like that. And maybe another pillar could be how he's managing his company. So the company culture, how he's appreciating the employees that are doing well, and what are the values that their companies have, what are the things that they do, showcase those values and things like that. So these 3 can be our content pillars for this client. Now within this content pillar, we can also decide what kind of content we are going to go with. This is not content format, I am coming to that in some time. But here we can also try to understand what kind of content we are going to share. Are we going to focus on industry trends? What is trending, and try to identify that and create something from there? Or are we going to find a gap and create a series around that, as I mentioned, which nobody else is talking about? That can be our USP. So these are also some things that we need to figure out along with deciding our content pillars. The next is content formats. Now I am a social media manager who mainly works for LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn there are few content formats, for example, only texts, or carousels, or texts with images, or videos, polls, articles, and things like that. When I have a conversation with my client after onboarding the client, I will have a discussion with him. I'll try to find out if there's any particular type of format that he enjoys or that he has created before and that he would like us to focus on. Otherwise, we would go ahead and experiment with different content formats. So we will switch things up and use a bit of everything. For example, if we are, let's say, posting 3 times a week, we will maybe one day create a carousel, one day maybe we'll post a poll, and the other day maybe we'll share text with an image. That's how we will switch things up and experiment. Now after we are done with the experimentation, there can be two things. The client can either tell us to continue with this and keep using different formats so that the audience doesn't get bored, or the client can tell us to double down on the things that are working for us. So if client says the latter, then we will try to analyze from the data and find out which are the types of formats that have worked best for us, and stick to those 2-3 types of formats. So that is basically it. That is how you create a content strategy. There are a lot of steps after this, like creating a content calendar, creating the content, writing the captions, sharing it with the client and things like that. But creating a content strategy is really these 3 steps. Yes, it can take a lot of time, and if you are a beginner, you might get stuck at different steps and you might not understand a few things, but over time you will get used to it. You will be able to identify and understand the things that you need to focus on while creating a content strategy. I hope this was useful. If this was, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. And if you are a freelancer, or if you want to become a freelancer but you don't have a proper roadmap, you can book a one-on-one consultation call with me. I will help you figure out a roadmap with which you can start your freelancing journey in the next 30 days and also overcome all the roadblocks, all the mindset blocks that you have. The link is in the description. You can go and book a call, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.